Hey everybody, this is Simone with Fami.com, and I wanted to take some time out and look at the new HTC Hero and how it goes against other touchscreens that are out right now, like the iPhone and the G1. I'll start with the G1's touchscreen first. The difference right now between the G1 and the HTC is that the G1 does still have a slide out screen where you can go in and you can actually use it just like you would use for a Sidekick or any other phone with the slide out keyboard. Now they've, after an upgrade, they've used now the touchscreen for the G1. It's not it's not that sensitive yet. You can use it in order to do things if you don't want to use the slide out, but sometimes it can push wrong buttons, or you can misspell words or anything like that. It's not the same as one of the more sensitive touch screens like the iPhone. When you're typing, a little closer. When you're typing, you do have to push the side to use numbers, or if you need to use any of the symbol keys, you do have a button that you would push on the side, which does differ from the new HTC that has just come out. Next, we'll talk about the iPhone's touchscreen. Most people are familiar with the iPhone's touchscreen. It does have a little easier interface as far as the touchscreen is concerned with your typing and things like that, just because that's all that it is. It doesn't have a pull-out screen like the G1 or some of the other phones that are out right now. The sensitivity is, up until now, one of the best that I've used so far as touchscreens are concerned. As you can see, it automatically just puts different words in there, or it'll add apostrophes or punctuation if you miss it or if you push the wrong button. I think that's awesome on the iPhone. Last but not least is a new HTC Hero. I actually do like this phone. I've gone through some of the pieces. I actually like the touchscreen on this phone. It's a little different from the iPhone in that it is the screen, the keys are a little smaller. The difference here on the touch screen, it is very sensitive. It's pretty good as far as typing words out and fixing things. But you don't have to push the button like on the iPhone. It had a button at the bottom that you have to push for numbers or punctuation. You don't have to do that. If you want to push the 1, if you need a 1 where it would normally be just a letter, you can just hold down the Q and it'll come up as a 1. If you need any of the other punctuation, you do the same thing. You just hold that letter down and it'll come up as the punctuation, which I think was really cool that you don't have that on the other phones. You actually have to stop your typing and go to a different screen in order to get your punctuation. Now this one doesn't actually have the words just drop out, but they do show up on top of the line. If you do have a mistake, it'll show up right here at the top, and you can just insert it just like that, simply by clicking on it. And it does the same thing if you need to go. If you still wanted to use the words, the letters or the numbers, you can switch it over by the side. You don't actually have to hold down any of the keys. And it shows up just like this. So it's a pretty easy touchscreen to use. I kind of rather the letters be a little larger like it is on the iPhone, but as far as all of the other things that it does, I think it's cool that you don't have to go to a different screen in order to put punctuation in, and that if you wanted to, you can also turn it to the side and it'll switch right over for you, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, the keys actually get a little bit larger. Now the one problem that I did have with typing was that while you're typing, if you're typing letters, it has a sensor on the side. It'll actually dim the screen because the sensor automatically shows it if it's dark, the screen darkens. So it can be a little hard to type. You have to be careful not to cover that sensor up, or the screen will get darker, which is a little irritating when you're typing text messages or things like that. Overall, I'm partial to a slide-out keyboard, just because I think it's a little easier to get the words that you're trying to type up. But if I had to choose a touchscreen, I think I'd go with the new HTC Hero, just because I like some of the extra feeds that it has that you don't have to do as much working And that's all for today. Thanks for watching. This is Simone with Foamy.com.